Greetings, Earthlings, or should I say future Martians. Consider this. What if one day every single one of us decided to pack our bags and move? And not just to a new city or a different country, but to a whole new planet. Imagine the moving announcement. We're relocating. New address, the Red Planet, fourth rock from the sun. Sounds like science fiction, right? But science asks, what if? So put on your thinking caps, fire up your imaginations, and picture all 8 billion of us leaving Earth for Mars. It would be the biggest, wildest, funniest mass migration ever. Moving to Mars isn't like loading a van and hitting the highway. The journey would be months through cold, empty space. We'd have to pack very, very carefully. You can't just run back to Earth if you forget your toothbrush or your lucky socks. We'd need to bring everything. Tools, computers, seeds for plants, board games. A cosmic road trip with the whole population squished into giant spaceships, asking, are we there yet? The ultimate fresh start on a brand new world. Before we blast off, remember Mars is very different from Earth. Colder, dustier, almost no breathable atmosphere. So first order of business, survival. We'd be pioneers, explorers, construction workers. Everyone would have a role. Grandmas, little kids. It would take all our science, creativity, and a good sense of humor. Welcome to Mars. First thing you'll notice, no cozy little houses, no white picket fences. Not yet anyway. Air is super thin, no oxygen to breathe, temperature can plummet way below freezing. Homes must be super strong, super sealed, super safe. Most likely, giant interconnected biodomes. Think of them as massive transparent bubbles or sprawling habitats dug into the ground. Your new address, 123 Red Rock Road, Biodome 7. Inside, we would recreate a little slice of Earth. Parks, homes, schools, streets, all under one roof. The sky inside might be a projection or a live feed of the stars outside. Houses might be 3D printed using Martian regolith mixed with polymers. Your bedroom walls could literally be made of Mars. Domes must be completely self-sufficient, recycling every drop of water, recycling every bit of air. Like living inside a giant high-tech terrarium. No leaving the front door open, that's for sure. Living so close together would change community. Your neighbors might be right down the hall. Imagine a neighborhood block party for the entire dome. Communal gardens, shared workshops, big public spaces. A very, very large futuristic apartment building where everyone knows everyone. This shared living makes us tightly knit. Cooperation equals survival. So, we're living in our cool Martian domes, but what's on the menu for dinner? We can't just order a pizza or run to the grocery store. All of our food would have to be grown right there on Mars, inside our biodomes. This means we'd become a planet of farmers. We'd have huge hydroponic and aeroponic farms. We'd grow plants using nutrient-rich water, or a nutrient mist, without any soil at all. Imagine towering vertical farms' walls covered in lettuce, rows of tomatoes, beds of potatoes all glowing under special LED lights. Our diet would probably be mostly vegetarian, with vegetables, grains, and legumes that are easy to grow and full of energy. Cooking on Mars would come with its own quirky challenges. Mars has lower atmospheric pressure than Earth. What does that mean for your kitchen? Water boils at a much lower temperature. On Earth, it boils at 100 degrees Celsius. On Mars, on the surface, it might boil around 35 degrees Celsius. Inside pressurized domes, we'd keep pressure closer to Earth's, but if pressure is lower, you'd need special pressure cookers. A simple pot of spaghetti could turn into a funny science experiment. Your water would be bubbling like crazy, but it wouldn't be hot enough to cook the pasta. What about our favorite treats? Chocolate, cheese. Both would become incredible luxuries. Cows and dairy need lots of space, water, and resources, so dairy farming would be unlikely at first. Chocolate comes from cacao trees, which need specific tropical conditions that are hard to recreate. Martian scientists would be racing to make tasty alternatives. Maybe algae-based protein bars that taste like cheeseburgers, but it'd be the best cake on the planet, because it would be the only cake on the planet. On Earth, we almost never think about breathing. We just do it. Our planet is wrapped in a wonderful thick blanket of air called the atmosphere, which is filled with the oxygen our bodies need. But on Mars, the atmosphere is about 100 times thinner than Earth's, and it's made almost entirely of carbon dioxide. If you tried to take a deep breath on Mars without a helmet, it would be, well, it wouldn't work at all, and it would be over very quickly. So the most important job for our new Martian society would be making our own breathable air. Every biodome, every vehicle, and every spacesuit would need its own life support system. So where would we get our oxygen? We can't just ship it all from Earth. That would be impossible. Instead, we'd have to be clever and use what Mars gives us. The Martian atmosphere is packed with carbon dioxide, or CO2. Notice the O2 in there? That's oxygen. We could use machines, like one called MOXIE, which stands for Mars Oxygen In Situ Resource Utilization Experiment, and it has already been tested on Mars. These machines would essentially inhale the Martian carbon dioxide and exhale pure, breathable oxygen. It's like having a whole forest of robotic trees. We could also get oxygen from the ice found at the Martian poles. Water is H2O, and by splitting the water molecule using electricity, a process called electrolysis, we can get hydrogen and oxygen. Living in a world where air is manufactured would make us incredibly aware of every breath we take. Air would be the most precious resource of all. Our biodomes would have sensors everywhere, constantly monitoring oxygen levels, carbon dioxide levels, and air pressure. If there was a leak, alarms would blare, and everyone would have to follow safety procedures immediately. We'd learn to conserve air, and activities that use a lot of oxygen, like intense exercise, might be done in special, highly monitored gyms. Every puff of air would be a reminder of the amazing, life-giving atmosphere we left behind on Earth, and a celebration of the human ingenuity that allows us to breathe on a world millions of kilometers away from home. Get ready to bounce! One of the first things you'd notice on Mars is that you feel incredibly light. That's because Mars has much lower gravity than Earth, only about 38% of what we're used to. If you weigh 100 pounds on Earth, you'd only weigh 38 pounds on Mars. This would completely change the way we move. Your first steps on Mars would probably be big, bouncy, and a little clumsy, a lot like the astronauts walking on the moon. We'd all have to learn to walk again, developing a kind of bouncy stride, which we could call the Martian hop. Running and jumping would be amazing. You could leap over huge obstacles and feel like a superhero. This low gravity would make sports completely hilarious and excitingly different. Imagine a game of basketball on Mars. You could jump from the three-point line and easily dunk the ball. High jump records would be shattered, long jump records would be shattered. A simple game of catch would become a challenge, as throwing a ball the same way you do on Earth would send it flying much farther than you expect. And soccer? A well-aimed kick could send the ball soaring into the air for what feels like an eternity. We might have to invent new sports designed specifically for Martian gravity, or play our old favorites in much bigger stadiums inside our domes. While feeling light and bouncy sounds like fun, low gravity would also have serious effects on our bodies. Here on Earth, gravity is constantly pulling on us, which helps keep our bones strong and our muscles working. On Mars, without that constant resistance, our muscles would start to weaken and our bones would lose density. To stay healthy, we'd all have to exercise every single day. Our daily routine would include time on treadmills with harnesses that pull us down, or using special resistance machines to simulate Earth's gravity. Did you do your gravity exercises today? Would be a common question. It's the trade-off for being able to jump 10 feet in the air. This new relationship with gravity would also inspire all sorts of new forms of dance and acrobatics. Imagine a Martian ballet where dancers leap through the air, then float through the air in long, graceful arcs. What would everyday life be like on Mars? Let's start with school. Martian kids would learn all the same things as kids on Earth: math, history, art with a special cosmic twist. In science class, they'd look out the dome window and see a planet. Geology, studying real Martian rocks. Biology, hydroponic farms growing food. PE, low-gravity sports and bone strength exercises. History, the new chapter, how we moved from the blue planet to the red planet. Work would be different. Early jobs, survival and construction. Engineers, botanists, technicians, geologists. Everyone plays a crucial role. As the colony grows, new jobs emerge. Teachers, doctors, artists decorating dome cities. Chefs inventing Martian recipes, hydropod technician, radiation shielding inspector. Social life adapts. Birthdays, holidays, maybe we'd celebrate Landing Day, first Harvest Day parades, community feasts. Parties might feature low-gravity dancing, close-knit dome community events, festivals, concerts, games. Moving to Mars would be an incredible adventure, but it would also mean saying goodbye to many of the simple things that make life on Earth so special. Think about it. We probably couldn't bring our pets with us. Dogs, cats, hamsters, birds, food, water, breathable air that would be too precious to spare, especially in the beginning. Imagine a world without the happy bark of a dog greeting you at the door, or the soft purr of a cat curled up on your lap. We'd have pictures and videos, of course, but it just wouldn't be the same. The silence left behind by our furry friends would be one of the quietest, most heartbreaking challenges of Martian life. And it's not just pets. We would miss the feeling of nature itself. Oceans, waves crashing on a sandy shore, forests, tall trees, soft grass between your toes. The sky would be a dusty, pinkish tan color during the day, not the bright, beautiful blue we know and love. We'd miss the smell of rain on a hot day, the sound of birds chirping in the morning, and the sight of a rainbow after a storm. All of our nature experiences would be inside our biodomes, carefully managed parks and gardens that, while amazing feats of engineering, would always be a reminder of the wild, untamed beauty we left behind. Think about the foods we couldn't easily have. A fresh-from-the-ocean seafood feast? Impossible. A pizza delivered to your door with dozens of toppings to choose from? Not likely. The sheer variety of flavors we enjoy on Earth, from thousands of different plants and animals, would shrink to a much smaller menu of essentials. While our first homes on Mars would be sealed domes, the ultimate dream wouldn't be to live inside bubbles forever. The grandest, most ambitious project would be to make Mars more like Earth. This process is called terraforming, which literally means Earth-shaping. It's the science of changing a planet's atmosphere, temperature, environment to make it habitable without a spacesuit. It sounds like science fiction, but it's based on real scientific principles. It would be the biggest construction project in human history, taking not just years or decades, but centuries or even millennia to achieve. The first step would be to thicken its atmosphere and warm the planet up. One idea: release frozen carbon dioxide from the polar ice caps, build giant mirrors in orbit to focus sunlight on the poles, or build surface factories to pump powerful greenhouse gases. Thicker atmosphere traps more heat, starting a slow warming chain reaction. Thicker air also gives better protection from solar radiation. Once warmer and pressure is higher, liquid water could flow on the surface again. Underground and polar ice would melt, forming streams, then rivers, and eventually shallow seas in the lowlands. With thicker air and liquid water, we could begin introducing life. Start with the toughest organisms, lichens, microbes. They slowly break down rock into soil. These pioneers are the first step toward a living ecosystem. Over many generations, as soil improves and oxygen rises, we could add more complex life. Plant hardy mosses, then grasses, and eventually forests of Martian trees. Imagine, hundreds of years from now, a descendant on a Martian hillside, breathing the air and looking out over a blue sea. We would transform Mars from a cold red desert into a green and blue world, a second garden. So here we are in the distant future, living on a terraformed Mars. We have our bouncy Martian sports, our unique dome cultures, maybe even the beginnings of our own Martian oceans. We have built a new home for humanity through sheer determination and incredible science. Life is an adventure, a testament to our ability to adapt and dream. The children born on Mars would be a new kind of human, taller and lankier from a lifetime in lower gravity, with stories of Earth passed down like ancient legends. They would be Martians, with the red dust in their history and the spirit of exploration in their hearts. It's a hopeful, exciting vision of our future among the stars. But even with a flourishing new world, we would never forget our first home. Earth would always be the blue marble, the cradle of humanity, the place where our story began. We would look up at the night sky and see a bright blue star, and we'd tell our children about its vast oceans, its towering green forests, and its incredible diversity of life. We'd have museums dedicated to Earth, with holographic displays of elephants, whales, and sound archives of birdsong, crashing waves. The memory of Earth wouldn't make us sad, it would make us grateful. It would remind us of where we came from and the journey we all took together. This entire thought experiment, this grand migration to Mars, teaches us something incredibly important about our home right now. It makes us realize just how perfect Earth is for us. We have breathable air for free. We have drinkable water in our rivers and lakes. We have a climate that allows for an astonishing variety of life. We have a powerful magnetic field and a thick atmosphere that protect us from the sun's radiation, without us even having to think about it. Everything we would have to struggle, build, and engineer on Mars is something Earth gives us effortlessly. It is a one-of-a-kind paradise in a vast and mostly empty cosmos. So, while it's fun and inspiring to dream of building a new future on Mars, it's also a powerful reminder to protect the amazing home we already have. Exploring other worlds shows us that there's no place like Earth. Our journey to the stars should begin with appreciating and caring for the ground beneath our feet. By looking to the red planet, we learn to love our blue planet even more. And that, I think, is one of the most valuable lessons science can teach us. The future is exciting, but the present is precious. Consider it. We've imagined building domes on a distant world, growing food in alien soil, breathing manufactured air, and bouncing in low gravity. We've seen how human creativity and determination could turn a barren planet into a garden. We've discovered that survival in space means working together, sharing resources, and caring for each other. But most importantly, we've learned to see Earth with new eyes, as the incredible, life-giving miracle it truly is. Every breath of fresh air, every drop of clean water, every moment in nature is a gift. So keep dreaming of the stars, but never forget to love the world beneath your feet.